Okay, come on and let's explore. Respiratory main functions include transporting air into and out of the lungs, protecting the body against harmful particles that are inhaled, and its most important function, the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So basically, it's all about breathing. Now let's take a look at the diagram, and we'll go through the respiratory system main components, starting here with the nose and nasal cavity, the mouth or oral cavity, the pharynx is here and what we consider the throat. The pharynx is considered part of the digestive as well as the respiratory system, and it connects the respiratory openings to the larynx and esophagus. The esophagus is not part of the respiratory system. Next, we have the larynx, which is the voice box, because the vocal cords are located here. The trachea, also called the windpipe, is here, and it connects to the bronchi, which merge into smaller tubes called bronchioles. And bronchioles connected tiny air sacs called alveoli. And then down here is a diaphragm. Let's go through a very basic look at what happens during the breathing process. So air is breathed in through the nose or mouth. When it enters to your nose, it gets spread out by these shelf-like things here called conchae. The conchae helps you modify the air and trap some inhaled particles. They also warm the air. Then the air next passes through the pharynx and enters the trachea. This little flap-like structure is called epiglottis, and it has an important function. During breathing, it's pointed upward, allowing airflow into the trachea. However, during swallowing, it falls down to prevent food from going into the trachea, directing the food into the esophagus. If food does enter into the trachea, the gag reflex is induced to protect the respiratory system. The epiglottis here, this thing, shows how amazing the human body is. Anyways, back to airflow. So air continues down to the trachea and enters the bronchi. From there, it enters into smaller bronchioles and finally into the alveoli, which are surrounded by a network capillaries. And this part is where the magic happens. Oxygen enters the alveoli sac and the gas exchange occurs. Capillaries give up their waste carbon dioxide and pick up oxygen. Carbon dioxide has been exhaled through the air passage. The oxygen was inhaled through. And the oxygen picked up the blood, returns to the heart. During this breathing process, the diaphragm is busy as well, contracting as we breathe, in which allow the lungs to expand and relaxing as we exhale. For us to understand well the breathing process, I prepared to you a 3D animation of respiration. Wow! We are here now in the respiratory system, which is the process of breathing. In human, the main organs responsible for respiration is present in thoracic cavity. As we breathe in, the oxygen molecules enter the nostrils and travel downwards to the pharynx and trachea to finally reach the bronchi. From each bronchus, oxygen travels into the lungs. Bronchus divide repeatedly and form bronchioles and reaches the alveoli, which is surrounded by a network of capillaries. RBC, or red blood cells, is flowing through the capillary. Then, the oxygen molecules from alveolus diffuse into the capillaries and then absorb them by the bluish-purple color to red causes oxygenation of red blood cells. The blood moving into an alveolus contains red blood cells and carbon dioxide. Then these carbon dioxides are released into alveolus where gas exchange happens. Carbon dioxide will be breathed out and exhaled. And this is the process of respiration.